Morning, guys. Today we're going to go over multi-threading. So what multi-threading is basically you can have different sections of your code going at the same time. So I'm going to pull this up. We went over this in our previous lesson, and what this is basically doing. Here's an example of what I mean by single threading versus multi-threading. Currently, our code, the way it works, goes this line and it works its way down, gets in here, and it will loop over and over and over again until it hits Halloween 2020. Once it's done, it comes out here and then it does the rest of the code. So again, I can draw how the order in which this code will go without lifting my pen. And then I can go, oh, it's into another loop, and then you have an if statement. And then, I can follow the path of the code with my pen without lifting it at once. With multi-threading, you can't do that because you'll get to a point where it goes here and then it jumps down here, it starts doing this. Meanwhile, it's still doing this. So I would need two pens going at the same time, and that doesn't, and I don't have two pens, so I can't draw it for you, but that's what multi-threading is. So here we go. This is essentially the same thing as here. We import date and time. Halloween is this date time object, midnight on October 31st, 2020, while the current time, while the current time, where this is how we get the current time, is less than Halloween 2020, we're going to wait 1 second and we're going to print waiting. So this is what the output of this code would look like. Waiting, waiting, waiting. And it would do this all the way until Halloween 2020. So we don't necessarily want that to happen, because if we want to have code going at the same time, so we want to have code that's also monitoring this and that. So let's say we have code that we want to monitor that's running as soon as we start that starts running as soon as we start our computer, and then we want it to monitor the day, the time. If it's a specific day, we want certain things to happen, but we obviously can't have it be checking for any time. So we couldn't have it be checking this way. We couldn't have it be checking for Halloween, St. Patty's Day, my birthday, Christmas, and all these other holidays or whatever. You might be able to figure out a way, but you have a list of certain date objects, and while this is not, and you go through them individually, but you can also do it with multi-threading. You can have this thread going, and then you can have another thread going, and another one, and another one, and then you can have 5 threads, each looking for different time objects, date time objects, and once those are true, then you have it run a program. So I think I went over this. Yeah, so we're going to go over this right here. So import threading and time, print start of program, define take a nap, time.sleep for 5 seconds, print wake up. So I'm going to skip the threading part for a sec. So this is thread demo student resources. So if you run this, start up program, it'll then wait 5 seconds, wake up, end of program. So again, I'll run this again just so you guys, start of program, time.sleep, prints wake up, and then end of program. So in order to get to this, we have to wait for this to be done, not with threading. So we'll comment that out for now. And then what we do is we do a thread object equals threading.thread target. Now target, this is why we write things in functions, because now we can have our target, what we want our thread to do, to be linked to a function. So all we do is our target equals take a nap. There are no parentheses after. This is just we're passing it a name and then it does the rest. We do not have to do the parentheses. Actually, if you do that, it will give the return value and it will screw stuff up. So don't do that. And then thread obj dot start. So wherever we can create thread objects wherever, and then we could have this thread object dot start somewhere else. So I'll show you how what that would do in a sec. So watch this. Start of program, end of program, and that was actually really right on it. I didn't think I was going to do it. So notice we have the start of program, then we have the end of program, and then 5 seconds later it did wake up. So what it did is it said, oh, you're creating a thread object that takes us back up here. We start that thread and then it branches out. Let me just draw this again because I like drawing on my screen. So red is going to be our first thread. So it comes in here, goes print starts a program. This gets loaded into memory, right? Because it's a function. It skips that, goes here. And then as soon as it goes here, one thread jumps back up here and starts doing all of this. Let's go blue. The other one starts here and starts executing this. So if we added more to the code, okay, I broke something. All right, forget all that. Stop capitalizing the P. And when we run it, that's where I could write more code. And then again, we got to wait the 5 seconds. And then, oh, I was off that one. Then we get to wake up. Pass it. Okay, so now, hopefully I've explained all that well enough. Now, let's say we have a function that contains arguments. So you guys all know that print is a function and we pass it arguments. This is what I want to print. And then we can also do keywords. Sep is, let's just do this. Cat, dog, frogs. So again, this is a function, so any function you've ever written that takes arguments, and then you can also have, depending on what type of function it is, you can have keyword arguments. And so again, you have keyword arguments, which are arguments that are built into Python that mean something, like sep or end in print, but then you also have arguments, which are variables or strings or numbers that you put into the program that you take from the user and you manipulate. So if you want to pass that sort of information onto a function, you have to do it this way. So we're going to do thread obj equals threading.thread. Again, we have target equals print. That's all we're going to do. I'm going to slide this over here, scroll this up a bit so you guys can read that. Print, and then we have args equals, this isn't a list, and we have 3 things. So now we're going to do cats, dogs, frogs. And after that, we have a comma. Now, key w args, keyword arguments equals, now this is weird, a dictionary with the keyword as a string and what you want it to be. So that is how you would create a print function to be printed at a certain time later as a thread object with these keyword arguments of sep in it. So again, you would use this if you have a function like, let's jump over here. We're going to do minutes. Actually, this should just be seconds. So take a nap. We would then do a comma, and we would do args equals. Now, let's see what happens if we just type in a 2. See? Whatever's put in here has to match in here. Now, if I put more than one thing in here, I should get an error. Yep. Start of exception, yeah. It takes one positional argument, but 2 were given. So I have to get rid of this. So anything that goes in here, if you have a function with passed arguments, you have to have arguments as a keyword here, and you have to have it in a list here, like so. The last thing, concurrency issues. That's where you have a bunch of threads writing and editing the different variables at different times, or the same variable at different times. So you just need to make sure that things aren't interacting with each other. I know it's stupid, but just read the book. Never let multiple threads read or write the same variables. When you create a new thread object, make sure its target function uses only local variables in that function. This will avoid hard to debug concurrency issues in your programs. Everything should just be local. And also, it's a lot easier if you have, this is why I've told you guys, do not use X and Y and A and B and D and thing as variable names. Because when you get to debug issues, if you have a problem with X and you've used X everywhere, it's a lot harder to debug. What I want you guys to do for homework is I want you guys to come up with 5 ways you, not someone else, you would like to use multi-threading for. 5 things you come up with. No coding today because I want to go over a little bit more stuff, but I want you to think of 5 ways you would like to and can think of using multi-threading, and then write them up and then turn them into me. So I'll make that an assignment. But as of now, this is a long enough video, so have a good day.